From the Fallout games, Bethesda has made Fallout 3, 4, and 76. Let's first investigate the history of each game and how their narrative started. Fallout 3 began with players growing up in Vault 101 and then leaving to chase after their father into the capital wasteland. Fallout 4 starts with the player being frozen in a cryo chamber in Vault 111 and leaving the vault 210 years later to chase after their son into the Commonwealth. Fallout 76 has the Vault dwellers leave Vault 76 to find their overseer and handle the post-apocalyptic Appalachia. The common occurrence is that obviously the players have always started from a vault, and it really is a shame that no alternative has been explored by Bethesda. You can see the narrative opportunity from having a unique start like in Fallout New Vegas, where you're a courier and you stumble into a plot between three major factions in the game, and all of like the story that that game has and how people consider it to be the best Fallout game. So just imagine the many more story opportunities that start from outside of the vaults. Hello guys, today I have a few ideas related to the new intros for Fallout games that do not involve being a vault dweller, but they might involve going to vaults. Of course, every protagonist in all the Fallout games have had Pip-Boys, but future Fallout games don't necessarily need your player to possess a Pip-Boy. However, just for this video as a requirement, all these intros will need to have a player getting their hands on a Pip-Boy. So the first beginning would be the Raider start, and the first potential beginning would be that at the start of a game, you are a Raider and you raid a vault, and the player attains a Pip-Boy off of a corpse. This could lead to two possible outcomes that I thought up of. One, another faction is upset by this and they kill off your Raider faction and only you survive. This leads into plot hooks like why is the faction upset with the loss of the vault, and were you or they justified? Will you get revenge or will you apologize? And two, the Pip-Boy is used to acquire more power for your Raider tribe, and maybe this could be related to attacking a Vault Tech related building that needs a Pip-Boy to get into. The plot hooks would be, what is in the building? How is this object of interest a source of power for your Raider group? And then the second Raider start that I came up with is the Pip-Boy is stolen from an important character. You are a Raider, so you're stealing from people. Therefore, the player is forced into the main story. So perhaps this Pip-Boy is a MacGuffin item, and perhaps it has important information on it, and maybe Pip-Boys are highly sought after, and like, who wants this Pip-Boy specifically? That's the plot hooks that it entails. And then the second thing about this second Raider start would be perhaps this important character that you stole the Pip-Boy from was leading a movement or a faction, and maybe by robbing them of this important tool, this faction is very upset with you. And how do you cripple this movement by your actions? Perhaps you even kill the important character, and you'll have to like make recompense as well, or you can continue to oppose the faction. So onto the second idea start, which is where you start off as a scavenger. So I have two ideas for the scavenger starts. The first one would be that you scavenge an already abandoned vault, and this is where you get a Pip-Boy from. But perhaps whenever you're scavenging, you get betrayed by some scavenger buddies who lock you up into the vault, and you can only escape through a hidden cave exit, and you can find the Pip-Boy in there. So the plot hooks would be, why were you betrayed, and will you get revenge? And then the second scavenger start would be You've been contracted, perhaps, to scavenge. Instead of a vault, it would be a Vault Tech factory, where the Pit Boys themselves were produced. And perhaps there's specific items in there, maybe a Pit Boy 2.0, and perhaps you're framed for taking that item of interest, but you don't have it. Maybe you only grabbed a normal Pit Boy, but everyone thinks you have the 2.0 version. So the plot hooks would be, what is this new item and why is it so important? Who is this group that contracted you, and who framed you? That's the main part of this start. So next is the civilian start. So this I've only come up with one potential story intro, and that would just be you're raised and your parents gift you a Pit Boy, perhaps by buying it off of a traveling merchant as a sending off present. And why are you being sent off? I have two subsections for this start. The first one would be the towns send off all of their young adults to explore the wasteland to turn them into more competent members once they come back into the village. The plot hooks would be primarily, why does this town practice this Spartan-like ritual? Perhaps they can do something similar to how Caesar's legions is replicating a society from the past, and that's pretty interesting. The second civilian start for this would be your town is destroyed by some random faction and you are the only survivor. So this one's very basic. It's a very basic call to action. The plot hooks would just be, are you going to take revenge? And was this attack random, or did it have a greater purpose? Was the town that you were raised in of some significance to the greater wasteland? All right, on to the fourth potential beginning, and this one is the descendant start, where your character is a descendant of vault dwellers. So the first idea I have for this is you want to go off and explore the wasteland, and perhaps obviously your parents are vault dwellers, and maybe there's a missing heirloom of great significance, and they give you their Pit Boy to assist you in your travels. So the plot hooks would be, what is this heirloom, and why does it warrant you risking your safety by venturing off into the wasteland to procure it? And then for the second descendant start, my idea was you are part of a post-vault tribe, kind of like Fallout 2, and you must fulfill the prophecy. So the prophecy could be anything, and mainly this is focused on a prophecy where you are supposed to push out the invaders from your lands and rescue neighboring tribes and other settlements from the invaders. Specifically, traditionally good factions are now the enemies, so the NCR and the Brotherhood of Steel. So you're thinking, for this plot hook, why would these specific factions be bad in this context? And what makes the protagonist the person for this prophecy? Which is the ghoul start. So if you want to play as a ghoul, perhaps in a next Fallout game, and you're allowed to play as a ghoul, you could have this potential beginning. So you have a Pit Boy from before the war, and perhaps you missed entering your local vault and the bombs dropped and turned you into a ghoul. And this would lead you to another revelation, which is that your children did make it into the vault. But now that hundreds of years have passed, your descendants have recently exited the vault, and it's you and your job to protect them from this wasteland and help them get situated. So the plot hooks would be, what has your lifelong time in the wasteland taught you? How will it help defend your descendants? And what exactly is targeting these ex-vault dwellers? Okay, now on to the sixth beginning, and that is the synth start. So this one's quite interesting. After getting sentience, so you're a Gen 3 synth, you are free to explore the wasteland, and perhaps the Pip-Boy is pre-installed in your arm. It's not something you attach, it's just in you already. So that's already pretty cool. But now, since you're a synth, you might be related to the Railroad, and they are dealing with a post-Institute wasteland. So they're trying to do some sort of synth reconstruction project, and it's up to you to choose to assist or oppose them. And the plot hooks would be, what other factions would oppose the reconstruction now that the Institute is gone, and what other factions would support it other than the Railroad? Okay, so that was all 6 different beginnings. We have the Raider start, a Scavenger start, a Civilian start, a Descendant start, a Ghoul start, and a Synth start. And all of them might have more like sub plots that you could delve into. I really enjoyed making up these ideas. I hope y'all did too. Tell me what y'all thought about it in the comments. And thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Bye.